Hi, my name is Neil Kamal Tyagi, and I work at Sectigo as a Senior Product Manager. I welcome you to Sectigo's first ever Identity First Security Summit. This presentation succeeds my previous presentation, which covered some of the basic concepts related to digital signatures. In this presentation, I will give an overview of different laws and standards that are applicable to digital signatures, and I'll also delve deeper into different types of digital signatures. Governments, businesses, and lives of people in general around the world is rapidly undergoing a major transformation due to increasing technology influence. There is thus an increasing demand for improving efficiency and security of information exchange involving signing and exchange of electronic documents. Documents, as we know, are core to how people work, transact, and communicate in their daily lives. Electronic signatures play a pivotal role in helping enterprises achieve this objective and enable them to take this big leap forward in their digital transformation journey. Quite understandably so, such transformations require support and regulation from the concerned standard bodies and government authorities who are responsible for ensuring fair play between entities transacting electronically and also protecting such transactions from malicious actors. Every country or region thus has laws and standards that regulate individuals, companies, products, and solutions that are involved in digital document signing. These laws and standards contain mandatory requirements as well as general guidelines that all such entities, products, and solutions must respect and stay compliant with. Let us look at a few prominent standards and regulations that are well known in the digital signatures arena. The Adobe Approved Trust List program is a program that enables millions of people around the world to sign documents in Adobe Document Cloud solutions using trusted digital signing certificates issued by certificate authorities that are included in the trust list of members within this program. Currently, there are 80 plus members in this list, and Sectigo is a prominent member of this AATL program. The Cloud Signature Consortium is a global group of industry, government, and academic organizations committed to driving standardization of highly secure and compliant digital signatures in the cloud. CSC has defined an open API specification which helps ease the interoperability between digital signature solutions, streamlines compliance with e-signature regulations, and opens the market for uniform adoption of cloud-based digital signatures around the world. Sectigo is a premium member of CSC. The Electronic Signatures in Global and National Commerce Act, or eSign Act in short, was signed into law on June 30th, 2000 in the United States. It provides a general rule of validity for electronic records and signatures for transactions in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce. The eSign Act is a federal law that allows the use of electronic records to satisfy any statute, regulation, or rule of law requiring that such information be provided in writing to consumers when requested. eIDAS is an abbreviation for Electronic Identification, Authentication, and Trust Services. The abbreviation refers to the EU regulation number 910/2014, which came into effect on 1st July 2016. It sets out rules and guidelines for adequate level of security for electronic identification and trust services. The regulation establishes a common, secure, and legal framework for qualified trust services and qualified trust service providers with the aim of enhancing trust in electronic transactions between businesses, citizens, and public authorities within the EU member states by providing cross-border recognition of electronic ID and consistent rules on trust services across the EU. The trust services regulated under eIDAS include those that serve electronic IDs, digital signatures, digital seals, timestamps, qualified website authentication certificates or QUACs, and electronic registered delivery services, and certificates related to those services. Sectigo is a qualified trust service provider and provides a range of eIDAS and PSD2 compliant digital signature certificates, electronic seals, and QUACs, as well as timestamping. Please do visit our website sectigo.com for further details of these and other product offerings. Similarly, Canada has PIPEDA, which is a federal Canadian law that protects personal information and regulates electronic documents. The other one worth highlighting on this slide is the PSD2 standard, which stands for the Revised Payment Service Directive, and it governs e-transactions performed by financial institutions and payment service providers operating within the European Union. Digital signatures can be broadly categorized into two types, namely advanced and qualified e-signatures. Electronic seals are digital signatures where the signer is a legal entity, such as a business or organization. These come in two varieties, namely advanced e-seals and qualified e-seals. In addition to this, banks and payment service providers within EU require some further specialized electronic seals that comply with the Revised Payment Service Directive Standard, or PSD2. They again come in advanced and qualified varieties. Let us now look at each one of them in some more detail. Let us start with advanced electronic signatures. There are four key requirements specified in Article 26 of the eIDAS regulation that a digital signature must fulfill for it to be considered an advanced signature. Number one, it is uniquely linked to the signatory. This requirement is achieved by virtue of the signature being based on the signatory's private key used to generate the signature. Number two, it is capable of identifying the signatory. This is achieved by virtue of the public digital certificate of the signatory associated with the signature. Since this certificate is issued by a public CA, it is guaranteed that the signatory's identity has been duly verified prior to issuance of certificate. Number three, it is created using electronic signature creation data that the signatory can, with a high level of confidence, use under his sole control or sole discretion. This signature creation data includes the signer's private key, which is typically stored in a USB token or HSM, and which is accessible only to the signatory and requires authentication based on a PIN known only to the signatory. Number four, it is linked to the data signed therewith in such a way that any subsequent change in the data is detectable. As explained in my previous presentation on basics of digital certificate, this is achieved by decrypting the encrypted hash value stored in the signature and comparing it with the freshly generated hash of the document. If the two match, it means the document has not been changed. But if they don't, it's an indication that the document was altered. Advanced e-signatures, as the name suggests, are more advanced than standard electronic signatures, as they require an advanced digital certificate issued by a CA, that is a qualified trust service provider as per eIDAS regulation. Also, outside of EU in general, if a certificate provider is a member of Adobe's approved trust list, then the publicly trusted certificates issued by it are considered equivalent to advanced e-signature certificates. Let us now look at qualified electronic signatures, which belong to the next higher class of digital signatures, which are considered to be the most reliable form of digital signatures under eIDAS regulation. A qualified electronic signature, by definition, is an advanced e-signature that is created by a qualified signature creation device, often referred to as QSCD in short, and which is based on a qualified digital certificate for electronic signatures. For a digital certificate to be considered as qualified certificate under eIDAS, it must be issued by a CA that is part of EU Trust List of Qualified Trust Service Providers, or QTSPs in short. Also, A qualified digital certificate must meet all the requirements laid out in Annexure 1 of IDAS regulation. Since qualified signatures have to be created inside a QSCD, it means the private key of the signatory at all points in time should remain inside the QSCD and never come out of it in clear. These QSCDs are highly secure devices such as USB tokens or HSMs that are tamper resistant and tamper responsive. For a signature creation device to be considered qualified, it must meet all the requirements laid out in Annexure 2 of the IDAS regulation. Typically, e-tokens and HSMs that are FIPS 142 Level 3 and Common Criteria EAL Level 4 certified are capable of meeting the requirements of QSCDs. Qualified e-signatures have the highest legal standing among all electronic signatures, and they are considered equivalent to handwritten or wet signatures of the signatory in a court of law. Similar to advanced electronic signatures, we have advanced electronic seals or advanced e-seals, which are used to seal documents. Document sealing is similar to document signing, but instead of using a digital signature certificate, in this case the digital seal certificate is used. The difference between an e-signature and an e-seal is that the e-signatures belong to an individual or a natural person, whereas an e-seal belongs to a legal entity such as a business or organization. The requirements for advanced e-seals under IDAS are similar to those of advanced e-signatures, as described in previous slides. However, since they belong to a legal entity, they are often used to seal documents in an automated fashion without requiring manual action from the signatory. Qualified e-seals again are in the same league as qualified e-signatures. A qualified e-seal is an advanced e-seal that is created inside a qualified seal creation device and is based on a qualified certificate for e-seals issued by a qualified trust service provider as per IDAS regulation. Qualified e-seals are considered equivalent to the legal entity's seal on paper in a court of law. As part of a long-standing effort to increase the security, privacy, and reliability of electronic payments crossing the borders of EU nations, the European Commission developed the Revised Payment Services Directive, also known as the EU Directive 2015/2366, or the PSD2. This came into effect in January 2018. PSD2 covers many facets of the electronic payments market, but notably introduces enhanced privacy and online security measures that must be implemented by banks and payment service providers doing business in the EU. Under PSD2, digital certificates are used to identify banks and payment service providers to verify the roles for which they are licensed to encrypt communications, and in some cases to provide tamper-proof seals or data or transactions. Due to the sensitivity of financial services transactions, the PSD2 Regulatory Technical Standards (RTS) specify that only IDAS certificates issued by a qualified trust service provider may be used for the identification of payment service providers. The directive has the following four important goals. Number one, to contribute to a more integrated and efficient European payments market. Number two, to create a level playing field for payment services providers across EU. Number three, to make electronic payments more secure. And number four, to provide more consistent consumer protection and manage third-party access of consumer financial accounts. It should also be noted that PSD2 e-seals can only be issued by a QTSP such as Sectigo to legal entities in the payment market that have a PSD2 authorization number. This is a special number issued by a National Competent Authority, NCA. PSD2 e-seals come in two varieties. advanced PSD2 e-seals, and qualified PSD2 e-seals. These are basically advanced and qualified e-seals as explained in the previous slides, which also meet certain additional requirements laid out in the revised Payment Service Directive. The number of use cases where e-signatures can be used is quite large. Basically, any physical document that needs to be hand-signed by an individual in theory can be converted to an electronic document and therefore can be signed electronically using either an advanced or qualified e-signature. Some practical use cases are listed in this slide. They range from taxation-related documents such as IT returns filed by individuals or their chartered accountants with the tax authorities to court notifications signed by a judge. Other examples include job offer letters signed by HR executives and new hires, and NDAs signed by contractors taking up assignments that require them to maintain confidentiality of information shared with them. Whether an advanced e-signature would suffice or a qualified e-signature is required largely depends on the nature of the signing transaction. For most scenarios, an advanced e-signature should suffice. However, where the transaction demands higher levels of reliability, or if the exact criticality and requirement is unclear, it is safer to use qualified e-signatures to avoid the risk of invalidating the transaction. This is because qualified e-signatures, as explained previously, are considered equivalent to handwritten signatures in a court of law. Electronic seals are required when documents have to be sealed on behalf of a legal entity, as explained in the previous slides. Examples include sealing of sales invoices, HR pay slips, press releases, company memos, contracts, and signing of software code. Electronic seals are often applied on documents in an automated fashion as they do not necessarily require a natural person to take physical action to seal the document. PSD2 seals are often used by banks and financial institutions for evidence stamping, claim resolution, and other example use cases such as sealing of bank statements of customers. With this, we come to the end of this presentation. I hope the content presented was useful to you. I encourage you to reach out to us if you have questions or feedback about the information shared in this presentation. Also, I would like to remind that all the digital certificate types explained in this presentation can be purchased from Sectigo by enterprise and retail customers, as well as through our channel partners. You can use the Speak to Us link that is found at the bottom of the left side panel of Sectigo Identity First Security Summit 2022. Thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to hearing from you.